And today we're going to just jump right into today's lesson on the emotional self. We know that the emotional self is aligned with the heart chakra. The theme of the emotional self is always emotional self-healing, forgiveness, and reactive response control. The secondary aim is the art of becoming less ego-emotional. We do know that the emotional self is the trauma center of the soul, and it is the home to our ego, anger, self-worth, and attachments, both healthy and unhealthy. So we want to just jump right into this. Anybody got anything to say about the new moon vibe? I mean, I'm still a little scattered, and with the retrograde, yeah, it's up and down, making progress, and going through the process. Want everybody to stay focused and stay deliberate and stay determined, regardless of what these first couple of days have felt like. Trust me when I say the work that you put forth now is going to manifest 3 to 10 times what you even think, because of the influence of the eclipse. So just keep plugging away, keep writing, keep creating, keep working, whatever it is that you are endeavoring right now, keep doing it, even if it doesn't appear to be bringing results. It's bringing results. It's being obscured by the effect of the eclipse. So just keep doing what you're doing. It is right with your soul. It is right with you. So with that, I want to jump into the lesson today. Today's keyword is reclaim. Reclaim, as in reclaim your sound emotional health and wellness through emotional healing. Now, each of us on this call, we all have and are currently going through and processing through our own emotional healing. None of us under the sun are immune to the effects of the cosmos. So this time is the time for that healing to become available. So when healing is available, that means your issues are going to come up. That's just how it is. They don't come up when there's no healing opportunity. They come up when the healing opportunity is available. And right now, we all have this healing opportunity available to us. So it's really vitally important to get an understanding of this emotional self and to really heal. It's one thing to say, yeah, I'm going to heal from my emotional trauma. I'm going to heal from my childhood trauma. It's one thing to say it, but to actually do some work towards that healing is another thing coming. We say a lot of stuff. We spout off, we say a lot of platitudes and catchy phrases and anecdotes. And if it is not something that is generated from your soul, and if it's not something you believe, that's all it is. It's something that you're saying. There is real work to healing that goes way past just saying, I'm healing from that. There's real work to do. So let's get into how we can reclaim our sound emotional health and wellness through emotional healing. Number 1, confronting, resolving, and releasing all unresolved childhood trauma and other growing up developmental injuries and past relationship toxic behavior patterns. To confront, let's talk about confronting them first. Um, the folks who raised me are no longer alive. They are no longer breathing on this side of the planet. Uh, when I went through my confronting stage of the childhood trauma that was in direct relationship to the people that raised me and those adults that were around me when I was impressionable and a little kid. Um, yeah, the main two, three, they was already dead. So I could not physically go and confront them. I couldn't physically, go in their presence and confront them about my unresolved childhood trauma. So I did the next best thing with those. Uh, uh, the best way to confront is number one, face to face. If you can't get face to face, voice to voice. That's the number one best way. I know I'm talking crazy right now. It's the best way in confronting it. It gives an immediacy to you expressing yourself and dealing with these issues. If you cannot confront face to face, voice to voice, then write them a letter. I wrote letters to my grandmother, my mother, and my aunt, and my grandfather. And I made a special trip to my hometown. And I walked to every one of their headstones. And I read the letter to them. And then I burnt it up right there on their headstone. That's how I confronted the childhood trauma that was attached to those four specific people in my life. I didn't have the opportunity to go face to face with them. Anybody got some childhood trauma related to folks that raised you that are still alive, but you may be afraid to confront them face to face? How does that make you feel? Go ahead, Victorious. I see you chiming in.
Oh no, I was just thinking, I've been having a hard time not confronting things that have come up regarding things that traumatized me as a child.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. This energy that is prevalent right now, it is that, okay, I'm we done. So let's deal with it. Let's deal with it. And again, our unresolved childhood trauma that resides in that stank part of the soul way down there where we push everything down and never get to. Yeah, confronting those who have harmed you is important. And it's the number one step in your emotional self healing. I got a note right here that says, speak your truth verbally when practical, written and sent, either US mail, email, text, whatever, when feasible, written and ritualized when complete. We got to start speaking up. We have to. I briefly mentioned this the other day, but we need to normalize calling out bullshit, especially from the family. We need to normalize calling out, normalize calling out trauma, normalize calling out bad behavior in our families.
I
That's
confronted
where it
it.
starts. Go ahead, Jolene. You're muted. We can't hear you. Still can't hear you. But we need to normalize believing young folks when they tell you that some old folk did something. We need to normalize not putting the victim
Mm,
on trial
mm.
and not blaming the victim. It's time for all of us on this call. All of us got some unresolved shit that we still deal with from time to time. It's time for all of us to speak up, speak out, and speak on it indeed. It's time. The time for being quiet and covering for Uncle No Good, Uncle Grab Your Butt, Uncle Grab Your Butt. Yeah, we got all the girls at the cookout running and don't and yeah, we need to normalize not even inviting his ass to the cookout no more. Don't even invite him over. What? We need to stop making excuses, especially for our men. Especially for our men. We need to stop making excuses. Stop excusing aberrant behavior. Speak your truth. Now, when I say verbally, when practical, now if it's going to put you in harm's way for confronting somebody verbally, then by all means, no, don't do it. By all means, no. Speak your truth verbally. That's the best way to face it and get it out and be able to have a real solution-based conversation is face to face.
Do you hear mine? Do you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, Jolene.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, I confronted a couple of years ago, and so yeah, I'm free, and thank God I'm free. But yeah,
Absolutely. Who do you mind if we ask who you confronted?
everyone who were involved, I'll say that.
Absolutely. And
And
I,
um,
I want you to share. I want you to go back in your mind and remember how you felt after you confronted one or more of them, and share with the group how you felt on the inside after you started confronting these folks about what they did to you as a child.
well, that's going back in my 20s. The most important for me was to tell my brother to protect his children.
Absolutely.
And I wanted him to know, and he respected that, and he put some reinforcements to protect his children, and I made sure of that before he had children. I
Absolutely.
wanted to get that in his thick head, that, and so
Good.
every time I ask him, he tells me, he's still maintaining that, which I'm happy.
Good.
Um,
Good.
Again, other family members. Yeah, it's been I think a couple of years ago, I can't go specific. This is kind of live, and people
Right.
are
Right.
still
Right.
alive
Right.
and well.
Right.
But
We don't have to give nobody's name, but
yeah, it was, of course, the stepdad and stepfather, whatever he thought he was, coming in. That's why I'm always asking and looking. Why would a man marry a woman with a lot of kids?
absolutely.
I would always have that in my head. Why would they even want to marry a woman with a bunch of kids? And we were fine. We didn't need you. We were fine. We were fine. We were
Absolutely.
happy. We were fine. We didn't need you. And he stepped in, and he corrupted. He messed up. He just and for some reason God keeps him alive.
Well,
But it's and but a couple of years ago he called everybody to apologize. Some took the apology, some didn't. And I saw him, and when he saw me, he dropped to his knees.
wow.
He dropped to
Wow.
his knees, and he begged for forgiveness like 100 times in 1 minute.
All right.
And I think it was more for him than me. I don't know, but
Well, we're gonna get to forgiveness next, but that's a powerful experience, and I'm grateful that you shared that with us. I think it is much more prevalent um, uh, than even we on this call and those who are on this live on the book or watching the replay even want to admit. Uh, um, you know, it used to be said there's one of them in every family. So it's not like this is geared towards any socioeconomic status either. You know, don't matter if you got money or not. This happens. It happens, and no one talks about it. It happens in the church. It happens at the school. It happens on your sports teams. It happens when your kids go away to college, and it happens in your own house. Time to normalize speaking up, speaking out, and speaking on this, and not letting it be normal to let these creeps get away. Whoever it is, whatever the trauma, whatever the molest, there's more ways to molest a kid than just groping them sexually. You understand what I mean? I'm talking about the entire well-being of the child. I was talking with someone yesterday, and I had thought about this. You know, when I was a baby, or when we're babies, and our moms, you know, smack us on the butt, or when we come out of the Y, and they smack you to wake you up. That's your first trauma. You come into the world getting your ass kicked, getting the shit slapped out of you from jump. Trauma. You come in getting traumatized. It's traumatic going through the birth canal. I don't care what nobody says. It's traumatic. And then to have it put on us just over and over and over and over again, and we don't get a chance to resolve it. We don't get a chance to speak on it. We got to see this creepy sucker every time, and he just walking around grinning like his shit don't stink. Or her shit don't stink. And to make everybody else is uncomfortable except them. No, it's time out for all of that. We're gonna start speaking up, speaking out, and speaking on this shit. Written and sent is probably the easiest, least confrontational way to do it, and it'll probably be more thorough because when you get face to face, you know, you're gonna get tense and emotional, and some things that you will write, you won't say. Yeah, you can write out a whole dissertation. You may not say all of that face to face, but you can write out fully what you need to and send it to them. And when we're doing this, I wanna give everybody a disclaimer. When you are confronting these folks and these situations and these endeavors and these events in your life, you have to give zero fucks about their reaction and how they're going to take it.
They didn't care about your reaction. Shoot.
Absolutely.
You know, they don't care.
So you can't be, oh, well, I can't say this because it's going to hurt their feelings. Yes, it's going to hurt their feelings. Just like it hurt yours all the many years ago.
That's right.
Make sure you be thorough when you write them. Write it to everybody, even if you can't find some people. If the bully pushed you down and you scrubbed your knee in second grade, and write him a letter, her a letter.
Yeah, I didn't write the letter, I confronted, and then I always wanted to write about it. And for some reason, when I came out and saw that mountain, it just came out, and it talks about becoming my own shadow.
Yes.
Not gravitating to that shadow, but having my own shadow. And it's I think it's in book 3 or book, I think it's in book 3, but it's book 3.
Absolutely.
And that's the one that's not published yet, but it really gave me a release, saying I can have my own shadow, means I can be my own wholesome self, because that shadow
absolutely
at night is you know, was kind of something. But
absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. Written and ritualized when complete. That means when you have dumped and fully written all of your letters, all of them, take your time and write all of them, write everybody a letter. Bosses that you thought was out to get you, folks who didn't cut you off on the road, everybody. When you get done on a full moon, go out back and say, I am releasing all of these up into the cosmos for my healing, and then burn them, because you have written, your verbal words get sent to the cosmos due to the vibration. Your written words can get sent to the cosmos through fire, through transfixation. So it has to be transfixed by fire. And then they go permanently into the cosmos. And then you have to practice one thing after you do all this and you release and let it go and you heal and you process through all of that. Then you have to not go back and grab that shit again. That part.
And I had to go through that ritual again of that release.
Absolutely.
It's a constant thing. And when we got in this house, it's a build up from dirt and up. I don't want that energy in that house.
Absolutely.
I don't. I really don't. I don't. So I had to revisit some things and make sure I do not bring it into that brand new space. And that's,
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't want it in my life.
You know, emotional healing is not a one-time, one-size-fit-all. It is constant. It is constant, because as you heal from something unresolved, here comes something else that is going to tax you. Here comes something else that is going to pull at you. Emotional healing is something that you always want to keep in the forefront of your mind, to stay emotionally grounded and reserved. I have an affirmation where it says that off jump. I am Pifers B Metatron on the 7th. I am emotionally grounded and reserved. I say that every day, because that's part of my healing. Part of me not scrubbing my knee is not falling down. Understand what I mean? If I don't fall down, then I don't scratch my skin. If I remind myself that I'm emotionally grounded and reserved, then I don't get pulled either which way by any little insult or thought or comment or remembrance of a issue or a situation. My remembrance of the situation doesn't go anywhere. It's just how I process it then versus how I process it now has changed. That's what's changed. The event still happened. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 is once you have spoken your truth, written it, sent it out, ritualized it, and spoken up, and you have done that first initial part of the release, then you must go into immediate self-forgiveness. We're going to talk about forgiveness in a minute, but initially, first and foremost, is your self-forgiveness. You, we, me, I, all of us have to learn to practice. I say this all the time, letting our own asses off the hook. Forgiving yourself. Forgiveness, okay. A lot of us have been influenced and told about forgiveness via some sort of church or religious organization, and the whole way that they talk about forgiveness is bass backwards. Forgiveness is for you. It ain't for the person that did something to you. The forgiveness is for you. Forgive yourself first. Forgive others when necessary, if at all. I don't know how, how I could forgive someone for, hurting me. I can't forgive you for that, because my forgiveness is really for me, and I'm forgiving myself for allowing myself to be hurt by you, to be in a position to be hurt by you for what, however the hurt came, if it was physical, mental, emotional, however it was. I'm forgiving myself for putting myself in that position. And I'm never forgetting your action. How the how the hell we talk about I forgive the person that killed my son? No, you didn't. How?
How
How?
do you do it?
That
When
part.
religious people get up there or on that TV and somebody done killed their son and they get up there talking about I've forgiven you. No, whoa, what? Really? You forgiving them? Really? How? I can never. I can never. I'm being honest with you guys about me. If this is anybody else, y'all can chime in, give me a hands up or whatever. I can never forget what you have done. I could choose to look at it one way or another, and we're going to get to that. But what you did is what you did. What I did, if I slapped you in your mouth and I come back 10 minutes later and say, I'm sorry, are you forgiving me or I slapped you in the mouth? You ain't gonna never forget that I slapped you. I'm looking at Honeybee's face. Honeybee, what you got to say about this? Because I see your expression. Go ahead, chime in. Am I off, you guys?
I think everybody's different. It's like people want to forgive because they don't want to hold on to that energy. And you can do your best to forgive a situation. It doesn't mean you have to forget about it. It doesn't mean you have to revert back to, where you were before it happened or when it happened. But to harbor that energy, like me personally, I do my best to release things and just let the universe take care of it, because my ancestors seem to always be right there.
Absolutely. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not harboring and holding when I say what I say. I'm saying I let it go. I don't hold a grudge. I just ain't gonna fuck with you no more.
Right. That's what I mean by
so then
you can choose not to forget it, but you don't, like, you can choose to forgive, but you don't have to forget it. That's what I meant when I said that.
Okay. Well, myself, I kind of believe forgiveness is for me. Yeah. It's not for the sucker that swung a bat. I'm not gonna forgive you if you swing a bat at my head. I'm just not. I'm not gonna.
Right.
You cuss me out. Yeah, we just throw that word. We throw these words out. Oh, I forgive you. Wait, whoa. How do you really? Somebody steal all of your stuff out of your house. You gonna forgive them?
I'm not a person, to be honest. I don't even talk about forgiving. I just leave it alone because I know me.
Absolutely.
I do what I have to do. I could do, like, I told my brother, I put him where he needs to be with the understanding. It's over 7 years. And, I'm not an arguing type. I will not argue with you, but you come in my face.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to say, I'm just going to give you a look and you make a choice. So,
Absolutely.
I think the metaphysical of me, I became a social worker so I can understand. There's nobody was explaining anything.
Right.
And I just tripped on into learning psychology, social work, all that conversation really expanded my knowledge. And I still have this idea where if you're gonna hurt me, I'm gonna look at you. Look at me, but while you look at me, hurt me. If you cannot look at me, why you hurt me, leave me alone, because I'm gonna take care of you. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I can't be a victim. I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to
No more victims.
I'm not doing that. I'm
No
not
more
doing it.
victims.
I'm not living against that because we have to live some kind of way. But I'm
Right.
not gonna live stupidly. I'm not
Nope,
gonna do
me
that.
neither. This is the part. This is why forgiveness is so important for ourselves, because this is that place where we get to change our story. Once we start forgiving ourselves and letting ourselves off the hook, we get to change our own narrative by changing our perspective. We get emotional about shit because of how we look at certain things. If we step back from them and look at them calmly and change our perspective, we will keep ourselves from even needing that forgiveness. And
Yeah,
again,
I don't
I'm talking about that self-forgiveness. Lastly, let's talk about the last thing. Once you speak your truth, once you done got it out there, once you have let your stuff off the hook and done all of the amends and forgiveness gestures that are necessary for a healthy process of healing, then we get to the last part where you get to release your guilt. Release your guilt, process your pain and disappointment, and set some healthy boundaries. Some of us having to do that right now in and around our environments, having to process our pain and disappointment, yet and still we have to set healthy boundaries.
I think there's a confusion between forgiveness and love.
Absolutely.
I think when the use of love is in that conversation, people use love against people, and that's that it can really come back in your face the worst of the way. It's not a
Absolutely.
good
Well,
thing.
well, well, love is the biggest thing that folks manipulate each other with.
Yeah, that's right.
Love.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's number one right up there. It's right up there. It is vitally important that in releasing your guilt, that you permanently let yourself off the hook and give yourself a clean slate. Wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. Nothing you did that made them do what they did. And even if it was something you did, still doesn't give anybody a right to traumatize you. No one has that right to traumatize anyone. So release your guilt, release the shame, release the embarrassment, process through and release the pain and the disappointment and the broken promises and the failed relationships and toxic behavior. Release it all, process through it all, and then set healthy boundaries so that your emotional health and wellness is first and foremost, and it can't be encroached upon. Lastly, about this, and this is most important, no matter who, what, where, when, how, or why, from this moment forward, stand the fuck up for yourself at all times.
Thank you. I love that.
I'm just being real, y'all.
Yeah.
No matter who it is, no matter what it is, where, how, why, stand up for your own ass, for your own self.
And I want to, if I can add, and I'm gonna shut up.
Go
I
ahead.
I was talking about that at work, and my hands. I said, everybody put their hands up like this, and I said, see what you see, see what you see, see what you see. You don't have to add anything else. See what you see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, um, um, in the release of your guilt and processing your pain and disappointment, setting healthy boundaries and standing up for yourself, all that other old way down, other old manipulative stuff, other old toxic behavior, just let all of that shit go. Let it go.
But people can't let it go until they see something. Until they see something, then they'll make a decision. But until then, they're gonna stay in that, and that's in that shadow.
See yourself free and liberated from
Right.
all of the back and forth that you do for your own self, all the tension you give yourself, all the nervous anxiety that you give. See yourself free from that. If for nothing else, do it for that. Do it for that. Because I guarantee you, the folks that got us all emotionally twisted up, they ain't think about us like that. That's normally how it works. That's normally how it works. So with that, I'm gonna open up the floor. Anybody have anything they'd like to share before we shuffle off to enjoy the rest of our Saturday evening? Anybody?
Had a
You
great
wanna share?
Go ahead, honeybee. Go ahead, honeybee.
I wanted to share when you were talking about writing letters and releasing.
Yes.
But when I first learned about like chakras and how all of that works,
Yes.
I don't know where I pulled the idea from to start writing people letters, but I used to work with this guy. I won't say his name, but it was this Caucasian dude I used to work with, and he was on my team.
Mhm.
And he used to irritate the soul out of every single person in the building. And I was like, why are you so annoying?
Right.
And I was like, at first I liked him. And then the more he talked to me, the more I realized I didn't like him. And then he started irritating my soul. And I was like, let me go write this man a letter.
Right.
And I went home and I wrote him a letter. And as I started writing the letter to him and talking about all the things that, moved me in a way that it shouldn't, I started to reflect it back to myself and see the things I need to change about me, or the things that could use some correction within myself. And as soon as I got to the end of that letter, I felt so much better.
Yes.
I burned it. And then by the end of the week, he wasn't with us anymore. He got fired.
Absolutely.
Like they
Absolutely.
just took care of it for that lesson that had to be learned. So it really does work. It's very, very powerful.
Very powerful. Very powerful. Thanks for sharing, honeybee. Go ahead, Jolene.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a really good week. You remember there was a box of designer bags. I thought I lost it. I did lose the bag, but I gave my daughter a stethoscope a couple of years ago, years ago. And I thought it was in that box. And don't you know she has the stethoscope? I was so happy. I said, you have it? She said, yeah, Mom. I've been told you have it. I said, your mother's getting older now. I was so happy. And I was so happy that she has it. I mean, I spent $250 on that stethoscope.
Right.
It's not a cheap. And so I'm happy it's in her hands. Thank God. Thank God. Thank goodness.
Very good. Very good. Anybody else want to share before we close? Grateful for Victoria's being here. Grateful for Shonda Oates being here. Grateful for the gangster sister Carolyn be here. We truly appreciate all y'all's presence. And I want to end it with this. We either correct disrespectful behavior or we condone it.
Oh.
Let me say that again. We either correct disrespectful behavior or we condone it. Thank you guys for being here with me today. This has been On the Sevens with Pythias B Metatron. I'm grateful and thankful for each and every one of you. Keep coming back because your mastered self awaits you. Goodbye for now.
Bye.